GT1 cars. You find me back in the Renaissance Classics Porsche 911 Club Sport on a dreary, wet, cold Saturday morning, just after 7 AM, and I'm headed down to the first AAA event of the year and my first ever Goodwood Members meeting. This year's members meeting is actually quite an anniversary. It's the 75th annual members meeting that's taken place. The third, I think, of the most modern reincarnations of the event. There's going to be loads of classic track action going on, probably most of which I have absolutely no idea what's going to be. But there's one highlight in particular. There's going to be a track demonstration race between GT1 cars from the 1990s. We're talking about Porsche GT1, McLaren F1 GTR, and even the legendary unicorn that is the Mercedes CLK GTR. It'll be the first time I've ever seen it. I cannot wait to film it. I'm not actually going down alone today. I'm convoying down with one of the guys from Renaissance Classics. He's driving a 1969 Lamborghini Islero. It's a V12, a really classic, elegant shape, and it departs massively from the insanity of lines and hexagonal shapes that Lamborghinis currently embody. I have never had the opportunity to drive it. It's right-hand drive, actually recently featured in a classic car and driver photo shoot, which I believe the article will be out quite soon, so feel free to check that out. I don't think it'll be out by the time I publish this video, but have a search for it, it's cool. It's such a shame that it's so wet and damp and horrible and cold today. It's sort of the perfect kind of day for some really impressive track action, but maybe this will make for a more eventful occasion. Either way, I'm going to get on with my drive and I'll catch up with you when I reach Goodwood. Now, before we get into the track action and automotive content, I thought I'd focus a little bit on what the members meeting is and what it's all about. The members meeting began in 1948 when a member of the British nobility opened Goodwood Circuit up for the members of the British Automobile Racing Club. Before motor racing unfortunately ceased at Goodwood in 1966, 71 of these meetings had taken place before being restarted in 2014. It is now meant to be the most intimate event of the year with very limited numbers of tickets and offers racing from a huge variety of peerage and classes. Just as in F1, qualifying happens on Saturdays, with Sunday reserved for race day. This intimacy is found all around Goodwood, in the small log burners with wooden benches for people to warm up next to with their coffee and bacon sandwich. The corrugated aircraft hangars have been transformed to provide a quaint place to escape from the manic race circuit, offering food, local produce, drink and live entertainment. Even the Great Hall was transformed to resemble an Old English school with its house crests hanging centrally and fake bookcases around the edge. Some might even say it was reminiscent of Hogwarts. As the morning drew on, the paddock filled with excited and enthusiastic motorsport fans, coming to marvel at the eclectic mix of performance cars. Before heading out on track, I also decided to take a look. The first thing to catch my attention was this incredibly rare and expensive Ferrari 250 LM, next to a line of Cobras, with an impressive group of 4 GT40s at the far end.
Attention Paddock, with car number 42 from the Brabham Trophy. Please make their way to the assembly area now. Thank you.
Finally, I just had to get a quick peek of the GT1 cars. First up on track were Formula 3 cars from the late 1960s and early 1970s, qualifying for the Derek Bell Trophy. They are powered by 1-litre Ford engines, yet sound quite formidable. Shortly after this, the qualification session for the Jerry Marshall Trophy commenced with an eclectic mix of Group 1 cars from the 1970s and early 80s, such as Ford Capris, Rover 3500s, and even a few Angry Minis. Now, the members' meeting isn't all about four-wheeled automotive events, as seen by the Hailwood Trophy, which is comprised of two-stroke, 250cc and 350cc GP bikes from between 1970 to 1984. Lister Sports racing cars, built up to 1963, rolled out of the paddock and into the preparation area, including oddly named knobbly and Costin-bodied cars. After the Listers, 3-litre Sports prototypes from the early 70s went out on track for the first demonstration event. Unfortunately, I missed most of it because I was having lunch. A man's got to eat. The next event qualification is potentially one of, if not the foremost event of the members' meeting, the Graham Hill Trophy. This event puts GT cars from the 1960s against each other, such as the previously mentioned 250 LM, in addition to Maseratis, Mustang GT350s, Jaguar E-Types and Cobras. Before what I classed as the main event, machines that raced up to 1939 went out on track to qualify for the Varzi Trophy. Competing were Bugattis, Maseratis and the crowd favourite, the Beast of Turin in red. I love their archaic basic shapes and skeletal engines. After these ancient beasts had been safely chaperoned back to the paddock, it was time for the GT1 cars to fire into life. There was a really nice selection of GT1 cars. McLaren F1 GTRs, with the red car being owned by Pink Floyd drummer Nick Mason, a Ferrari F40 LM, legendary GTR Longtail, a small collection of aptly named Porsche GT1 cars, and finally the unicorn, the CLK GTR, which unfortunately didn't actually go out on track. Free reign of the paddock meant I was able to get some exhaust and interior shots of these legendary cars before they headed out to the starting grid. hours later, believe it or not, back in my bath. I've dropped the Porsche back to the Renaissance Classics headquarters, and I am absolutely shattered. Without a doubt, I'm drained. I haven't been this exhausted in such a long time. Anyway, I have just filmed something outside of Goodwood that is pretty amazing. I think you're probably going to see it before this video goes up, in which case you'll know exactly what I mean, but it's a brand new supercar that was recently unveiled at Geneva Motor Show. If I do put that video out first, I hope you enjoy it. It was sort of a last minute thing where I was tipped off by someone, and I thought, you know, I just got to take the opportunity. Today was my first time going to a members meeting, and it was a different occasion than I anticipated it to be. I knew from the outset it was meant to be a more intimate affair, and a car event that was at its very roots a car event, but also one that was meant to be closer. You know, there were less tickets on sale for it, purposefully. And even if you look at the programme, at the end of the day, it does say that there's going to be fireworks and a bonfire and all types of things. But when I walked through the gates after parking the Porsche, I noticed that there were little tiny bonfires and wooden carved benches around them. People sitting down eating a nice sort of warm bacon sandwich for breakfast and a coffee in hand. The food market that we went through with all the lights and the entire, like, with the great hall. I mean, that's just a corrugated iron roofed shed basically, but the way they adorned it with the different house imagery and the fake bookcases and the long curtains, it was very homely, it was very sort of warm, and that was something I didn't anticipate, but it was something I love, because I've never ever felt that from a car event before. I suppose you wouldn't really, but I think it's one of the reasons why a lot of people say that the members meeting is one of their favourite, if not their favourite meeting. I really hope that you enjoyed my content from this year's members meeting. I'm more than certain going to go again next year, because there isn't an event that's as intimate or as warm or anything that I've said before as the members meeting is. So anyway, please subscribe for the latest content, and until then, cheers.